We added the newest group to this meeting.
That's awesome.
Hello, hello, hello. When is switch? Are we the speaker? When is switch not?
We are the speaker because
But maybe multiple.
maybe multi-speaker.
That's funny.
I would have believed.
Most people are allowed to speak others.
They're good kids.
I think for now we can leave it in gallery.
Nice people and
I
smart.
think after the audio too.
Kevin, you're not wearing a sport coat. Look at you, man. You're too casual. Look at you.
I'm a PDC now. If I wore a sports coat, I'd die out here. How you doing, Joe?
Good, buddy. Shuddy.
I'm just being chair of.
No.
It's.
All right, well, is
I'd like-
that? Okay, so I got to stand right here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that, that's fair. I got to stand right here so they can see me. They can see me right here, right?
You're like, no. you
Now
have to be up there.
they can see you.
You wanna take the
What
chair?
if I just, what if I stand right here? Look, I can stand right here, they can see me.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
If you pin that, if you pin it, then you're gonna see a bigger picture and they probably can see you if you sit in the right place.
How many fingers do I have?
You just go to the little.
Joe, how
square
many
where
fingers
we
do I
are,
have?
and the little 3 dots and click pin. You see where it says pin? So nice.
Oh.
That's what they
Oh, I'm
need.
like right.
How many fingers does who have?
I'll just stand right there. I don't-
You can just sit over there, you can, I don't need any of the top. Let me record it.
Okay, you CC, raise your hand if you can see me and hear me.
Yep.
All right, good. Raise your hand if you don't want to see me or hear me. Okay.
Everybody's.
Okay. Okay, well, welcome everybody. I thank you for coming in person. Those of you who are here online, thank you. We're gonna skip a lot of the formalities. The cohort, you all know each other. You've heard each other talk about your topics a million times already. You've already befriended each other, so we don't need to introduce ourselves in that way. But our dean here is here, so I'm gonna let our dean Chinaka Tomachuku say a few words because he has to go to his next thing, and then after that we'll go into our agenda. All right. So,
thank you, Dr. Mario, and thanks everybody
That's you.
for being here this afternoon. For those of you who don't know my name, it is
Ding dong.
don't say it three
Dom.
times because you don't know what's gonna
Wachuku.
say it.
It's 4 sounds. Dom Wachuku. The N can trick you, so you can just skip the N. Dom Wachuku.
Don't watch it.
4 syllables.
Thank you. So, I usually would tell my students, I say, you have to be able to say it to pass my class. So I'm really happy that we're able to put this together. I want to thank Dr. Murillo and Dr. Ortiz and Candice for working to make this happen. I know that you guys were disappointed when we had to cancel it. But I'm glad we're able to get it rescheduled before the semester is over. I wasn't even hopeful that we're going to be able to get in person. So when I spoke with Stacy about it, she said, I think you can still try to do in person this. So I'm happy that we have this format. So we have, our desire is to ensure that everybody is well connected with faculty members that can help them be on the right track to finishing on time. And we don't want to be the reason why you don't finish on time. So, and I know that when I talk with Stacy, they also have other mechanisms to match you up with people who have expertise in the subject area that you're trying to research. So I want to say thank you, all the cohort 18 candidates for being here, and our faculty members. I know this is a very challenging time for faculty. They are finishing the semester, grading papers, and everything else that you have to do. So I want to say thank you for making the time to come. May I just do one shameless plug for our EDD program? Part of the requirement to finishing and getting your degree is you have to recruit one for another person.
You have to.
Recruit.
Oh.
Into the program?
Into the program. No. So you're our ambassadors. So we are hoping that you continue to share the good news of what is happening. this program is unique, it's exceptional. And when we look at what we do here, I was talking with the president on last Thursday, and I said to him, we actually provide private school education at public rates. Because a lot, you guys go to these classes with direct interaction with your faculty members. You don't have grad assistants working and doing your paper. And you have the experts teaching you and working with you directly. That is the reason why we pay a lot of money to go to private schools. We were providing that here. So I want us to just, even when you discount all the accreditation, recommendations, and accolades we are getting, your experience is unique. So I want to thank our faculty members who continue to make it happen, and also the leaders for the program. So that's all I have to say. I want to just come and say thank you for being present and for making this happen. All right.
Thank you. Okay, so I want you, students, I want you to think of three. Three is a magic number. Okay, so although it's not uncommon to take more than 3 years to finish your doctorate, the goal is 3 years, right? But the way it's set up, it's 3 years. Unlike the rest of the university, where courses expire after year 7, in this program, the California legislature set it up so your courses expire after 5 years. So really you have 5 years, but we don't tell people 5 years, we tell people 3 years. You got 3 years to finish. This cohort that just is graduating right now, we have the majority of them finished. And we still have a few that are coming in. They didn't meet the deadline to officially finish spring, but they're gonna finish in the fall. So for the first time in our university's history, we got 25 of you all graduating this year. That's huge. Yeah, it's huge for us. So it's gonna be powerful at the commencement when you see 20 to 25 graduates in their doctoral robes. Because in years past, maybe there's 5. We're lucky there's 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's 3.
Yeah.
And so that's like a huge thing. So we're proud of that.
Very proud of that.
And part of the reason is that it took us a few years to like settle in. I don't know how I say it, but you're like sometimes you're like this and then you finally settle in. So without going into all the details, in the last 5 years, we revamped and changed everything to the point where we think we're finally seeing the results. So this is the year. It took 5 years, but this is the year. I mean, last year was good too, but this year especially is where we see the results. So I would just keep 3 in your mind, 3, 3, 3. Probably the most stressful, other than having to turn in your assignments, we know it's stressful that you got to find your committee. And in fact, I don't know if you want to maybe share your story about how you got your committee, but this may not. But believe it or not, in some other institutions, I don't know, maybe Stacy, you got to speak to this, Dr. Ortiz, is about to take out. That's right.
I was gonna come in support and emphasize that, by the way, 18 is the cohort that is graduating. There are 18 students and only 4 of them are not going to actually graduate this spring.
Yeah, no, 18
Yeah.
is, these guys are 18.
They are.
No, 18 students. in
Oh,
cohort.
18.
Yeah, what is it, cohort 16?
16.
We have 18 total students and only 4 of them are not gonna be walking this spring. Yeah, but just
One of them
yesterday,
just
we had
finished
someone,
yesterday.
yeah, yesterday, someone, yeah. Yeah.
And his issue was choosing, he had a committee member who just wasn't available. So you have to be really careful choosing a committee member.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Have more time. I am older now by 10 years of use. He says,
Oh, well, I mean, we make it like, that they have to, but I mean, there's life happens, we don't wanna completely do that, You know my secret's so
There, there are other institutions. There are other institutions where you have, before you're accepted into the program, believe it or not, you have to already have your chair, right?
Yes,
Right,
Yes.
that's how it is for PhD.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for my program as well, like, I had to, like, going in, I had to already choose, when they interviewed me for the school, I needed to give my top 3 to see if they are even taking students, and if they're not, and I already chose them, they're like, well, then you might have to, like, defer it for next year. Yeah, because there's just not enough chairs to, like, faculty to chair, the amount of students that wanted to join that program. So no, I had to pick mine from the beginning, going in my interview.
so I have a question. Are the 25 students going to be at graduation, all 25? Do we even know?
No, maybe like 17.
Yeah,
Okay, I just
yeah,
wanted to.
yeah.
Maybe like 17.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so, so we know it's stressful to find your committee. And we feel your stress, okay, we feel your stress. We've tried different things over the years, okay, so we've done. Creating a culture, a doctoral culture is very difficult. And every year we do different things to try to make things happen. And so like we've had social events in the past, we've had like a round robin where like the faculty will sit at a table and then people cut almost, we've tried all different things over the years. There's not any one solution or any magic formula. So, and of course, we understand the inconvenience that we had a date, that you all picked out a date. But here we are. So instead of going into what normally we would do in years past, we're going to use the majority of the evening, whatever, for the next hour and a half. We're going to let the faculty and fellows present themselves. I think maybe just 2 or 3 minutes each. And then let's see how it goes. Many of you probably already have your chair at least. But in order to fill out the paperwork, and Stacy will talk about this, we need all 3 of your people now. We know it's stressful, so don't think that we're not aware of that. Okay, so just let me give you kind of an overview, and then we'll jump, and then Dr. Ortiz will say a few things. Okay, so right now, at other institutions, other EDD programs in the CSUs, they've been more experimental. But our faculty here, at least we haven't gotten that far yet in our evolution. So we still have to do the standard 5-chapter dissertation here. But there are other places where you could work on projects, you could do, there's different things the faculty will accept as your dissertation. But as of right now, it's the standard 5-chapter dissertation. So that's, did you have a story about how you got your committee? I forgot, I overlooked you.
It's not a magical story. I'm Lisa Davenport. I graduated last year.
She's our outstanding.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here. It really is, and to be on this side of the table finally. I was very lucky to have been matched with Dr. Sumbera as my chair, and I chose her because even though we had different areas of interest in our research, I knew that she would keep me on task and chop, and she was very available. And when we talked about who my second and third chair would be, she connected me with Dr. Beck because Dr. Beck is an English learner. And because that was my area, I was in the community college track. I teach non-credit ESL at College of the Desert. And my research focus was on how do we support English learners as they're graduating from high school under AB 705 to ensure that they're getting the support that they need, the academic, social, and emotional support. And I grounded my research in community cultural wealth and intersectionality. And so Dr. Beck was able to provide not only lived experience, both from a personal perspective, but also professional, having taught in K through 12, which I didn't have experience with. But she also came in, oh my gosh, when it came to that last reading, but she made my writing better. She made my dissertation better by forcing me to really say what I wanted to say and make it very clear for my readers. My third reader.
Probably needed it.
No, no, I didn't, because you made it better. You made me tired. But we got it done and it was better for it. My third reader, I was very intentional. I chose someone on the faculty at my community college who was my mentor, because I saw her regularly. And so she would ask, how's your dissertation going? And I didn't want to let her down. So between Dr. Simbera, Dr. Beck, and Dr. Earhart, I had that constant reminder to keep working on your dissertation. Getting it done is really hard and it takes commitment and consistency and a lot of hard work. And my committee helped me get there and get done in 3 years.
Okay, so we have this. So right now we're still following the traditional 5-chapter format. I'm sure you know this: introduction, your lit review, your methodology, the results, and then the discussion and conclusion. Okay. I'm sure you're asking, how long does my dissertation have to be? Okay. There's no way that we can't really answer that, but in general, they tend to be probably at least 150 pages, to be honest, if I had to guess. I mean, we've never done an actual page count. I don't know what you did, because I don't know 150 pages. But what you need is 3 people with doctorates to sign off. That's basically it. You need 3 signatures that they confer that you did the work. So it's the work that counts, not so we don't check. We can't tell you how long is your dissertation, how many pages, but Okay, so here are the milestones. Okay, so there's topic selection. Okay, so many of you come in already with your topics in hand, which is great. So you have a step up. Although it's important to keep an open mind, because you can come in with something and then in the process of taking courses and thinking about it, you realize maybe that's not it. Okay. But it is helpful, because that way, if you have a topic that you're sure, and you have to be passionate about it too, because if you're not passionate about it, you'll run out of steam at the end. You're like I'm exhausted. It's something that you have to really want to do, right? Okay, so then in our ED, we deal with problems of practice, right? So what does that mean? That means that we're supposed to be kind of a hands-on, solution-based approach. So we're not just generating knowledge just to whatever, to create knowledge. It has to be applicable to the real world, right? So the curriculum, everything is supposed to be applicable to the real world. Okay, so that's the topic selection. And then your advisor and your committee, that's what we're doing now. Your chair and your advisors in general should align to your topic selection, but it's not always necessary, because really especially the chair, what the chair is doing for you is guiding you through the journey, right? even if they are not in the exact same subfield or field as you, that's fine. What matters is finding someone who's going to take the time to guide you. Right? Something that I do myself, and I just speak for myself, I put myself in the position of learner. That means I'm going to guide you, but I'm also learning from you. So by guiding your dissertation, because none of us can know everything and be experts in everything. So most of us have a working knowledge and education in general, and then we focus on a few things here and there. But just because your chair doesn't have the exact same like foci as you, it doesn't have to be a deal breaker, right? Maybe the second reader shares that same topic interest with you. That's fine. But the second reader doesn't have the time to be your first reader, so then so you have somebody else your first reader. Okay, so there's the two. Then your third reader, is your community partner. Okay, so the way this ED is set up is that we have to have community partners, pre-K-12 and community college, higher education. Although we can make exceptions, that we don't like to make exceptions. Although we could make exceptions if you present an argument, but otherwise, your third person's got to be an outside person. They cannot be a CSUSB faculty. They could be a CSUSB staff if they have expertise in higher education. By preference, if you're in the community college track, you want to get somebody who has community college experience, somebody whose career or job, even if they're retired, somebody who's made their career in the community colleges. And then if you're in the pre-K-12 strand, then you want somebody who's a K-12 person. So that's how it works. Next, you work with your chair and you develop the first 3 chapters of your dissertation. And the first 3 chapters become your proposal. Okay. So the main thing is you start doing your literature review. So in any class that you take, you should start collecting, especially if you know your topic already, start building your literature review. So chapter 2 typically is the class that you're doing. And then this summer and in the fall, you're going to be taking your methods courses. So, and for example, those of you who are in the summer class with me, the qualitative course, you're going to walk away with a general understanding of qualitative research, and the assignments in the course are going to be directly applicable. Like you're going to be able to take advantage of my course. You're going to have stuff to work with. If you're qualitative, and if you're quantitative, then you do the same thing for the quantitative course, right? So so you have chapters 1, 2, and 3. You're working on that. So right now you're working on getting your committee, and then chapters 1, 2, and 3. Towards the end of next semester, so towards the end of fall, you're going to do your comprehensive exams, your qualifying exams. And we're going to talk about that at a different time, not today, but you're going to come in to the downstairs, to the room we have downstairs, and on a Saturday, and in a few hours, you'll knock out your qualifying exams. Once you pass your qualifying exams, then you advance to candidacy. So now you're no longer a doctoral student, now you're a doctoral candidate. So you're a candidate. Once you're officially a candidate, you can propose now your dissertation proposal. So you get together with your committee and you just pitch them. Well, you turn in a formal, the first three chapters of your dissertation, you turn that in and you do a formal presentation. Then they give you feedback and so forth, right? They sign some paperwork, and once they approve it, they sign like a waiver or a form that then gives you permission to apply for IRB. And IRB is the Institutional Review Board, and that's the Human Ethics, Human Subjects and Ethics Committee, right? Once IRB reads over your stuff and then they give you permission, then and only then can you start collecting your data. Okay, so you can't start collecting your data until you have your IRB approved. Once your IRB is approved, then you start collecting data. So then you're collecting your data and you're analyzing it. You're working with mostly your chair, and you're doing that. And finally, after you've collected data and you're ready, you start writing it up, and you start writing chapters 4 and 5. Once you have 4 and 5 together, you go back and read any revisions that are needed to the first 3 chapters. And so now you have all 5 chapters. And you then work with your chair. Once your chair says, okay, you're ready to defend, you get back together with your committee, and same thing, you present your dissertation, and they call it defense, right? You're defending your dissertation. And then after that, you're not finished yet. You have to then, right? I know I'm taking a long time, but I have to do it like this. You're not finished until you turn it into ScholarWorks and upload your dissertation into the official repository. So the university has a repository. Once it's admitted, it's formatted correctly, and you get the thing, then you are a doctor. Right? And they can do that. So as far as I know, everyone's done. One person, we're not sure, but all the people that finished, they did that in time. So everyone's officially doctor of this cohort 16.
Yeah. There's just multiple steps, and in order for and I know it sounds very complicated, so that's why we have developed the checklist. Let me actually share my screen real quick so everybody can follow. I'm gonna share my screen so everybody can see. Shoot. Let me go to my office. All right.
In the meantime, who else is a graduate of our program? Let me look. While she's doing that. Oh, Dion's here. Hi.
Hey.
Hey, why don't you speak a little bit
How's it going?
about your committee, or just any advice, anything? And Sharon's always Bernardino here too. Just take a couple minutes.
Yes, well, okay, a couple minutes. Okay. Well, I will say that, you know, your committee is really key to a successful journey. I was very fortunate in having a committee that was very patient, because I was kind of all over the place. There were so many things that I was passionate about, and it was a matter of narrowing it down to that pinhole of a focus, right? So my committee, my chair was Dr. Murillo, and it took me a while. It took me a long time, and I think my best advice is, if it takes a while, you know, embrace that and take your time. Don't feel rushed to get it done in 3 years. If it takes you 5 years, it took me about 5 years. That's okay. And don't hesitate to reach out to your committee members. I know that I had my moments where I didn't want to overwhelm or bombard my committee. And so I wish I had utilized them sooner. But sometimes all it takes is a phone call, you know, because you know it's quite a journey, and when you're going through the process, it can be overwhelming at times, and it can be very much you're in your own world, and no one understands what you're going through but you, and but you can pick up the phone and call your committee members, and they will be great support. And so that's just my best advice. Be patient with yourself and to reach out to your committee members.
Thank you.
And it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Darren, yes, just maybe a couple minutes.
Sure. So, thank you for that advice. Now, my advice is probably going to be a little different, and that's advice in itself, that everybody's journey is going to look very different. But understanding what you need and being okay with what you need, and knowing that somebody in your cohort, their journey might be very different. Something that was very helpful to me was understanding that I am not going to save the world with my work, okay? Understanding that your aim should be to contribute a brick, not a whole building. I went into this program with just, wanting it to be my best work, wanting to just this amazing masterpiece, and it became very stressful. So again, kind of understanding that it's about, you want to contribute a brick, not an entire building. As Dr. Murillo said earlier, picking a topic that you genuinely care about, because that is something that's going to basically take you through the whole thing. But one that's not necessarily you've become so emotionally attached to is obviously creating a balance. I think another thing for me was protecting your mental health and well-being. You're going to be taking a lot of time. You're going to be missing a lot of things, and just learning that balance looks different for everyone. And in that, I think finding a support network as you go through this program, it goes by very, very fast. It's like you start it and it feels like it's never going to end. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, that wasn't as bad as I thought. So understanding that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Another thing that was very important for me was setting small, achievable goals. For instance, this paper that Stacy has up, kind of using visuals to say, oh, okay, I'm able to do this, I'm able to do that. And I think the last bit of advice is really picking a committee that is going to be for you and that you fully feel comfortable with. And there's not anything wrong with, oh, I would like to meet with you, Dr. Ortiz. Is there any way I can meet with you and kind of, pick her brain, and then meeting with someone else? There's nothing, none of us, this isn't a competition for faculty. And so we really just want to see our students succeed. And I think the biggest takeaway is just you should be interviewing people for your committee, and just kind of going from that. So that's just, again, maybe my journey and my tips.
So in the interest of time, we're gonna Dr. Ortiz is gonna go, but I do want to say that if you find yourself in a situation where it's just not working out with your chair or somebody on your committee, you can switch. You have to come to us and talk about it, but we prefer that once you pitch your proposal, that in a sense you're locked in to that committee. In rare circumstances, yes, but everything up until the time that you give your proposal, it's you can switch if need be, right? And sometimes we're humans, and so sometimes it just doesn't work out, which is fine. But otherwise, think of your committee as long as you get along, think of it like, okay, this is my committee. This is, like that.
So just again, because I know that it may seem very complicated, just hearing it, sometimes it's important to have a checklist. So we do have a checklist that is made for our students. We will be updating it this summer as well, and we will publish it by the beginning of fall. But in a nutshell, this just takes you one semester at a time, involving the things that you should complete by each semester, also the forms. So forms are very, very important to us, to our office, mainly because We do not have the typical format of, seeing our students every day during Monday to Friday. Your courses are usually on weekends, so our offices are closed. So that's something that we will be fixing starting fall, because we're starting homeroom. And homeroom is just going to be a space where you all will have access to our office basically over the weekend. You will have the main point of contact will be myself, and it will be through Teams. So we were gonna have all like the workshops that need to be there, forms, like everything is just gonna be in one hub, just so in case there's any questions, just so that there is some kind of direct contact to our office. Another thing is we, as I said, we have our checklist and our forms are listed here. Again, the forms are very, very important because there's just no way for us to keep track of your progress. So then there's just so many hands involved with like your committee, your chair, the student, us. So the best way for us to keep that in line is just forms. So we have, so as Dr. Murillo had mentioned, that by spring fall 2, that's when you take the qualifying exam. And before you take the qualifying exam, we need you all to submit the Form 3, which is for us to check if there's any red flags or anything that is missing that may prevent you from taking the qualifying exam. It's usually not the case, but that's just another step that we take. Upon your completion of the qualifying exam, you submit Form 4, and that is gives us the green light to advance you to candidacy, at which time now you can officially start working on your dissertation with your committee. Okay, and of course, after that is chapters 1 to 3. Once you're ready to propose, then you submit Form 6, and that's again to let us know if you need a space, if you need the conference room, or just to give us the green light that now you're getting ready to submit for the IRB, because there may be some complications within the IRB as well that maybe we need to clear up. So that just keeps us in the loop.
And and those of you here on committees, especially the first readers chairs, pay attention, because unless you and your student sign the forms, we don't know that who proposed or not. We've had situations where I already proposed. It's like, what? We didn't.
We
have no record of it.
So it's not official unless our office is aware of it.
Yeah.
So it's just so important. And I mean, it's not to be a snob or anything, but I mean, if we don't know, it didn't happen. Okay, so we need to know. So because we are the middle person that communicates with all the different
the rest of the campus.
Right, and so then it gets a little bit more complicated once you're ready to defend, or once you defend it, because now we're working with records, we're working with commencement, we're working with graduate studies, our office. So the forms are going to be your best friend. And so we'll continue on, and then another thing too that Dr. Murillo mentioned is the officialness of when you become a doctor. So when you defend, again, what you submit Form 8 to let us know that you are ready to defend, and your chair signs off on it. And then you defend and it's successful. Then you submit Form 9 to let us know that's the rubric, that it's official. You pass. Now you have to go with like the deadlines for graduate studies. So there's multiple deadlines for graduate studies. Just make sure that you pay attention to submission. The submission deadline for spring is usually like April 13th, 14th, around there, and you need to submit it by then. Otherwise, you will not be officially graduating in spring. It will be until
So your timeline, when there's a time when you can start backwards. So make sure by, I don't know, March or something.
So usually I recommend our students to defend no later than mid-March, because that gives you enough the cushion time for any revisions, any hiccups at graduate studies, any hiccups in other offices, because that can also delay you being officially graduated. So again, because we are working with like 5 different offices, so I do not recommend that if the submission deadline is Monday, that you defend on that Friday before, because it is just, it puts us in a lot of pressure that you may not receive your degree on time. So maybe you're walking, but you know that it's probably not official, so it's just better to just take your time. But can it be done? Yes, and I know life happens and that's fine, but just keep us in the loop, so that way we can vouch for you, because sometimes we get information from graduate studies for us to confirm something, but we have no idea what happened, because again, we're not being kept in the loop. So just make sure that everything is submitted on time and just check in with us. And yeah, so this is gonna give you every little detail that Dr. Bernardino mentioned, including the IRB, also the ethics training that you need to do before you submit the IRB. So everything is here. Another thing I do want to mention is that all of our forms are online. It is very straightforward. It is a web form based web forms that you just put in your information, and you just have to put the emails, and then it just sends it to everybody else, and then we all get a copy of it. Okay, and then we just modified form 11 and 12, which is if you need to change somebody in your committee, that's number 11, that's form 11, okay? And then if you need to, if the third reader that you're interested in isn't someone that is already on our list and on our website, then they need to submit an application so they can be vetted by the committee.
We make sure that they have doctorates, we make sure, like, we have to vet them officially, and we will get audited, so we have to make sure that these are.
Right, that we're getting the appropriate approved readers. So yeah, so all of it is here. Everything is pretty straightforward. Anything that you really need as a student, you're gonna be finding it under current student. And there's many titles here, but the main ones that you're gonna be used is the program information, which gives you access to not only your program guidelines, but also all of the forms. Another important one is gonna be the program roadmap. And this is the one that just pretty much just takes you just one semester at a time, giving you what is expected.
And the links are also there too.
And everything has a bunch of links, so that in case you find yourself in a particular document, it's likely that it's gonna have a link to the appropriate form. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Are there any general questions before we start to go into the next thing?
I guess I have one question. For the dissertation committee, we mentioned the chairperson is there primarily to guide you through the writing process. For the two other members of the committee, is their main role to serve as like additional readers for your dissertation, or is there a difference between the second and third member of the committee?
Yeah, okay, so the way the legislation is set, there's only been 4 exceptions to the California Master Plan. So in 1970, they said the UCs, you guys give doctorates, CSUs, you guys do the teachers. But they made an exception and created this doctorate. So there's a lot of scrutiny. We have to do studies all the time. So to be on the up and up, we created a chart, and it's somewhere on the webpage. I can share it afterwards. But so your first reader has to be what we call a core faculty, right? So if you look at the thing, there's a core faculty. So core faculty are the ones that maybe teach courses, although not necessarily. We have a lot of core faculty who we just don't have enough courses to be taught. So we have core faculty, and then your second reader has to be, and I'll answer your question. It may not seem like it yet, but I'll answer you. And the second reader it can either be a core or affiliate. And the only difference is the affiliate, for some reason, maybe they don't feel ready, or they don't have the time or resources or to be the first reader. So, okay, so your chair is also called the first reader. And then your second reader is your second reader. And then the third reader has to be the outside person. Our office, or actually my position, can make exceptions to it. So if you can make an argument why this person should be your third reader, even though they're not necessarily a community outside person, you can make that argument. So we can do exceptions, but the general rule is that, yeah. So the outside person is supposed to have some kind of applicable knowledge, right? So your first two readers are typically going to be your professors, people who work here. And I was a teacher a long time ago. I was a teacher, right? I taught third grade, but I'm not up to date on the teaching. You know what I mean? So your third reader, in a sense, is somebody who's current or recently retired, whose career was in the classroom, who can give you the applied knowledge, right? Someone like me is going to give you the more standard, generalizable, maybe theoretical, and maybe methods. So your first and second reader are your usually someone who's in line with your topic area, and maybe a methodologist, someone who knows how to do statistics or does it qualitative. And then your third person is like your communities, like someone who specializes in, I don't know if I'm making sense, in that applied knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, thank you.
What happened to Stacy? Okay.
Looks like Thomas is here.
Yeah, so Thomas and Salish are Salish is oh, thank you. Is our affiliate faculty, and then Thomas is our community, is a program fellow. So that's why they're on here.
Nice.
Okay, so so we're down to the next thing. I think we're going to start first with the people in person. So okay, so those of you who are here in person, I think maybe, I know it sounds weird, but maybe you can, as long as the camera can see you,
You can stand in the middle.
may or stand. You know,
Actually, no, probably not. I think they can see them.
Yeah,
They
let
can
me
see
see
them.
you.
I think they can just not see
Okay,
me. But
so
that's
then,
fine.
this is gonna be for everyone. And we wanna do it quick. And I know, and yes, sometimes I have a big ego and I talk more than necessary. The purpose of this is not to talk about everything you've done your whole life, right? You're gonna talk about, you're gonna present yourself. Are you able to be a first, second, or third reader, right? And then you'll something about yourself. And then we'll go through all the people here in person and then the people virtual. And then Stacy can explain, she'll assign breakout rooms for the people who are here virtually. And if you want to talk to somebody in the virtual, you could just use the Zoom on your phone. You can go out to the hallway or wherever you want, and you could maybe just catch up with them like that. And then those of you here who are here in person, you can just walk off and talk to them.
So yeah, so the game plan is for us to go ahead and do our presentations, just so that the students know who we are, what type of readers we can be. And then once everybody's done in person, we can go online and have our faculty online also give us their information. Once we're done with that, if you're physically here, we can go like break out and try and socialize and just talk amongst ourselves. If you need a space, we do have a couple offices here if you need them. Also, if you want to speak, if you're physically here and you want to speak to somebody that's online, then ideally it would be with your phone, but if you need a laptop, we do have the laptops here as well. So just however we can adjust ourselves, we're trying to get really creative. So without further ado, I don't know, would you like to go first?
Go.
So just what I'm available to do, or do I talk about?
Yeah, you talk about yourself.
Yeah,
So, a couple minutes is a long time to think about it.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Carmen Beck, and I am a professor in the Educational Leadership and Technology Department. I have extensive experience in K-12, from bilingual to assistant student. And also, I've been here 6 years now, and I teach a couple courses here. I already have 2 students, Angel and Maria, who already asked me to be their chair.
Oh, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't take your time, but I'm sure you've heard. Each cohort, you're on pause right now. You're okay. Each each of the, not the second reader, not the third reader, just the first reader, the chair, we have a limit. They can only do 2 students per cohort, right? They can only have 2 per the cohort.
Right.
Okay, sorry.
So those are my 2.
For that cohort.
For that cohort.
Yeah, but you can be a second reader.
I can be a second reader, and just so you all know, my practical experience is K-12, of course, and my focus is always social justice. That's my lens, and I have 4 buckets: Latinx, K-12, leadership, and women. And anything that intersects is really important to me. And English learners is part of the K-12, of course. Dual immersion, which the 2 of them want to do, is part of what I've done. So I'm here to support. And I'm here to support not only the program, but the students. And if you have questions, even if I'm not your chair or your second reader or your third reader, even though it's against the rules, I'm happy to answer whatever questions you might have. And, you know, I'm here. So available for that. So that's it. 2 minutes?
That's it, perfect. That's it. That was perfect.
Hello, everyone. I am Elizabeth Castillo. I am a new affiliate faculty. I'm at the Jack Brown College of Business and Public Administration. My professor is I'm assistant professor of sustainable management. This is my 2nd year at Cal State San Bernardino. I'm kind of a late bloomer. I got my PhD in 2016 from the University of San Diego. Then worked over at Arizona State for a few years, and then have been here for 2 years. My expertise is in resource allocation, and especially intangible aspects. So, you know, the cultural wealth model for students. There's an organizational model called social accounting. And so if you're just in strategy, resource allocation, performance management, or impact and accountability reporting, I could be a second reader for that.
I'm Dr. Lisa Davenport, and I teach at community college. I teach at College of the Desert. My area of focus is TESOL. I got my master's degree here in the TESOL program, teaching adult learners, but also community college administration. I'm active on Academic Senate and the Adjunct Faculty Union. So anything related to community college leadership, administration, or social justice and community cultural wealth for supporting students of color and students for whom English is their second language, or third language, or fourth language.
So you could be a third reader.
Third reader, yeah. I'm on one committee right now as a third reader, and it's a great honor. Thank you. I'm excited.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Carlos Galan. This is my first year as a tenure track faculty here at Cal State San Bernardino. I received my PhD from UC Riverside. Broadly speaking, my research focuses on equity, access, and organizational change. So with me, what you will find is my scholarship focuses on racialized experiences and how organizations, predominantly Hispanic serving institutions, they can do a better job to support students of color and staff of color as well. I believe that I have one person who reached out, and I believe I could be open to work as a first reader. But you know, I think beyond what I described, I do focus on community colleges as well. That's a different area of my research. Hispanic serving institutions broadly defined.
Okay, I am Victor Wong. And make sure you Google me. And my name is spelled Viktor and W-A-N-G. And Dr. Lisa's cohort was the very first cohort I taught during summer 2023, right?
That's amazing.
Yes. And then last summer I taught cohort 16. And we have Thomas, right? Thomas there. It's Alish, right?
Yeah.
And Leon and Marvin, and I published one of their chapters in one of my books. And I am publishing 3 more chapters by Dr. Marvin. Is Dr. Marvin there?
No, he didn't apply to be but
okay.
encourage him to encourage him to apply to be a fellow, yeah.
Yeah, the beauty of working with me as your chair, if I see any quality dissertations, right? I always help you turn your dissertation into a journal article or a refereed book chapter. And that's what I do. And so a little bit about myself, I began to teach in doctoral programs, including PhD programs in 2011. And I began to chair dissertations in 2008. So if you want to know my background, probably many. So just whatever area you need assistance with, so I'm here for you. And I've graduated more than 80 dissertation students. Currently, I have 4 mentees at CSU. I believe I can take one from cohort 18. I'm not sure which cohort Veronica is from, but I have her as my mentee, Veronica.
The one graduating, right now?
No.
Like the, I think she's-
Yeah.
She's cohort 18.
Okay, so yeah, I can take one last.
You do one more
from this cohort. And but I'm ready if you need me as a second reader. I'm here, and I am a research methodologist, a generalist,
Yeah.
not a specialist. I've served as university reviewer for a few years, and so I'm here. Just
Very good.
Hey everybody, my name is Jose Munoz. I'm part of a learning community that looks at mentorship and advising, and one of the books I'm using right now is called The Latinx Guide to Graduate School. And you can probably find it online now, but I think the 3rd chapter is really helpful to students because it's all about writing, reflecting on how you write, patterns, for like one of the former students just said, finding your way to how you write. That kind of things I think would be helpful. I mean, don't worry about the word Latinx. The book itself is open to all students. It isn't just for Latinos. Yeah, my research in the last 5 years has been focused on higher ed, looking at contingent faculty, Pell Grant awardees, Latinos, people interested in allied health. And this is largely the work that I've done, thinking about mentorship, thinking about how do you move students from the research projects and graduation. So I've done a lot of that stuff here, and I already have 2 students that have said they want me as their dissertation chair. I've never done it before, and they still said, okay, that's fine. So I'm happy to serve as a second reader, no problem. I'm already doing that, I think, for the cohort ahead of you. So yeah, that's about it. My work is largely qualitative, but I've certainly looked at some statistical work in my own research as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, go around the hoop. Anybody else?
So my next, okay, hi, I'm Hannah. I haven't had a chance to meet you guys yet, so hello. So let's see, like Carmen, you've been here the same amount of time, 5 years. So I have a PhD from the University of Hawaii. Yes, I moved from Hawaii to California. When he mentioned that we have 25 students graduating, 5 of them are mine. I chaired their dissertations down. So everybody excited about that? So what I here's a little, I give you a little idea of the variety and a couple of the things I want to share with you. Just a little tidbits for you to think about is that it's really common for people to change their topic. Okay, so don't let that stress you out over it, because half my students have changed their topic. Not unusual at all. Let's see, my background is I'm really into social justice, so if you're into that, I'm qualitative, but I've taken all the coursework in quantitative because I have a PhD, but I really live and breathe qualitative research. So that's really who I am. I'm into indigenous research methodology. I'm an elder in the Puyallup tribe from Washington State. Let's see, I also have a passion for education program evaluation. I'm certified at PhD level. It's something I'm really super interested in. And I really encourage my students to pick the methodology that is a great mission. Let's say that it really matches the mission of what they want to know. But not only that, to match their participants. So it helps them as well. So that's something that I like. And on choosing your third reader, my recommendation is to think about, someone who will help you get hired. For example, this graduating in May will be Tina Burr. She had Marcus Wood, Dr. Marcus Wood, the assistant superintendent at Desert Sands School District. And they've known each other a long time, but that was amazing. And what he told me confidentially afterward, he told me, he goes, I'm excited by her research, because what came out of it is that we need more counselors. And he said, I'm going to use this information to go before the school board, and I'm going to try to get a job for Tina to lead this effort. So I'm saying to that third reader, if you know someone who might be able to help you, that would be my advice there. And something I do for my students, during the summertime, I give up 2 months of my summer to work with them every Thursday and sometimes on Monday. And what we do, our mission for those 2 months is to get your chapters 1 through 3 written and be ready to move forward. So from your cohort, I don't have any students yet. From the previous cohort, I have 2. So that's what I'm all about. And if you're interested in qualitative research, I'm your person. Oh, yeah, let me pass. Oh, did you pass it? Okay, great.
Hi everyone, I just finished my last final exam. I'm Samantha Yuan, who's a feel free to call me Sam. I got my EDD from Teachers College, Columbia University. My background is in nursing. I am very proud. I've been a registered nurse for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And I still love patient care. My research focused on simulation, especially virtual and virtual reality simulation. Recently, I collaborated with the faculty from computer science. We're going to use AI to advance our simulation. So your dissertation is about the technology, about using simulation or virtual reality simulation. I can be the second reader. My another research interest is students' well-being. In the past 10 years, I focused on nursing students' well-being, but now I feel like I'm ready to expand that students' well-being across all kinds of disciplines, because I feel like a student is student. Okay. The anxiety, the stress, the workload experienced by nursing students, we also apply on other student population. At this moment, because in our department, we have a lot of first generation college students, they inspire. Yeah. There are also a lot of things, not just something. There are a lot of things I don't understand, and I try to learn from my students. So, for example, a couple months ago, I bumped into a couple of nursing students in the parking lot, and maybe because it was a very relaxing environment, they share a lot their perspectives. They share with me. They say, Dr. Sam, sometimes we feel like as a ground student, we are being perceived student. It was a very shocking moment because those are brilliant students. They have a very high GPA. They're very eager to learn. They're hardworking. I was very curious, where is that perception? Okay, and then they share a lot of personal story with me. I feel like, wow, something deserve explore and something to them. Because those brilliant nursing students are going to work with other people's life. Even they don't have the confidence themselves, either knowledge or skill or critical thinking or clinical judgment. I'm not sure how we're going to move our entire healthcare system forward. Yeah. So, and that's a new part I'm very interested in, and I feel like I'm privileged in this university to have so many diversified students work together. I'm a number person, so I'm not saying I'm a guru of a quantitative methodology. I'm not, but for my entire research, I always focus on statistical analysis. Okay, I published 2 mixed method studies. Okay, but that doesn't mean I'm specialized in this. But if you would like to have some feedback as a second reader about your research design, I'll be there for you. And I have a 13-year-old son. He played competitive ice hockey. So I spend a lot of time at the ice rink. Okay, so if you receive my email with some typo, it's because my fingers are folded.
Right. My name is Stacey Ortiz. I have my EDD from the University of Redlands, and I teach quantitative research. It's now getting all confused now. Quantitative research. I've done mixed methods, but I'm not like super good at qual. But I dabbled in it. Most of my work is in academic advising and mentoring with Latino students, retention, attainment, and I just started working with incarcerated individuals in the Tehachapi area. That's just something that just recently started, but that's also like with advising. And yeah, that's what I do, and I can serve as a third reader.
Very good. And just so everybody knows, right now I've been, because I'm kind of maxed out. I've been asked to step back from taking on any new students because my time is kind of maxed out. Otherwise, usually I take on normally 2 students a year, but this year I'm not. So now as things change and I can make an argument, I guess you guys go and.
I mean, technically, maybe even as a second reader.
Yeah, I could be a second reader and I can. Yeah.
It's not chair.
And I'm a quaalude, right? There's the quaaludes and then there's quantoids. I'm a quaalude. I'm an anthropologist by training, so anything.
And by the way, Enrique published one of his books by Teachers College Press. So what's that book all about?
Okay, so so for Teachers College Press, early on when I was a doctoral student, I'll just do it briefly because I know we gotta keep going. Born and raised in California, I went to the University of North Carolina, and there's a brand new Latino community in North Carolina. So I studied and eventually I coined the term the new Latino diaspora. And it's basically looking at the experience of Latinos in geographic areas where normally there's not a lot of influx of Latinos. So how are they welcomed? How are they received? What's going on? Like that. So that's my 4th book on the diaspora. That's a series.
So how difficult is it to get published by that?
Oh yeah, it's pretty. The Teachers College Press is pretty difficult. They're really
the review process.
Yeah, yeah, and most of and I work mostly with Routledge, but I've done I have SUNY, I've had Teachers College Press, I've had a bunch of other ones. I'm like Victor, have a lot of publications. I think I have nearly 400 publications altogether over my career. So it's a lot of stuff. And they're academic, so it's not an op-ed in the piece, but I mean it's still academic. So okay.
So should we start with?
I don't know, however you.
Okay, so if you would like to let me, if you guys want to just speak up as faculty, and then we'll go from there.
Put the names in the
You can. No, I think they can just speak up, and then yeah. So if you're ready, whoever's ready to go first.
I see a hand. I see
I'll
Sharon.
go. Hi, I'm Shannon Sparks. I am professor in the special education program, rehabilitation and counseling. I'm core faculty. I can be a first or second reader. Just like Victor, my goal is to get you published. So I had Barbara Booker P. last year, and she graduated, and we've already have her published. So I'm in the works with another student that I connected with that's a first year student. So my interest areas are transition, English learners, post-secondary education, specific learning disabilities. I'm open. Like, if you want to reach out, I'm more than happy to support you in your journey and to get you done. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to pass it along so we can keep the ball rolling.
And the listing has been updated. So if you go to the webpage now, there's a new the listing is up to date. So you can see who's core, who's affiliate, and who's fellow. Do you do this part, Stacey? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good evening. My name is Lasisi Ajayi. I'm the chair of Teacher Education and Foundations department. I've been in this College of Education here for about 11 years. I'm pretty new because there are some that have been here for maybe 25 or 30 years. So, but my areas of interest well, very diverse, but they include multimedia and multimodal literacy practices, critical literacy, social justice teaching, second language acquisition, second language teacher preparation, teacher preparation, equity and diversity, education for sustainable development. These are areas that I have published extensively, and lot of my papers are cited worldwide. In addition to that, I just want to say that recently, in working with other faculty in our college, particularly in teacher education and foundations, we started this CSU Northeast Normal University Education for Sustainable Development Consortium. So it's a bringing together of our university and another university in China, so that we do this kind of work. Principally, we organize conferences, and we organize provide avenues or spaces for people to go to China to do a year or a semester study, and for Chinese professor from that school also to come here and do a semester or a year study. Currently, we are preparing for our second international conference in October this year. So if you are working on your paper, or if you have been working on some paper, you want to present it, this is an opportunity for you. And for you that are very new, by next year, maybe your paper will be matured for presentation. So again, we will be going to China to hold the conference next year. So this is an opportunity for you to share your work, not just within faculty, within Inland Empire, to share it broadly, with particularly at the international stage, and get reactions from people of diverse perspectives. That enhances the quality of your work, and also help you to network with faculty from other countries. So if you are interested in working with me, I'm open to having one to serve as the main advisor for one person. And also maybe currently I have one or two that I serve as a reviewer or second reader. But I will only be able to take one because of my other duty as a department chair. Thank you.
I'll go next. Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon Velarde Pierce, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Public Administration at Jack H. Brown. I also teach in the EDD program. I teach a summer course on foundations of leadership. I've also been a K-12 administrator for almost 30 years, which really continues to kind of inform both my teaching as well as my research. My scholarly interests really center around women, particularly Latinas, in leadership, human resource management, focusing on the public sector, nonprofit organizations, and then mental health and well-being of students as well as professionals. As for methodology, I'm definitely, my work is grounded in qualitative research. I am not your quant person ever, okay? With a particular emphasis on narrative inquiry as well as testimonials. I think it's very important. And they're just approaches that really center around lived experiences. And my goal is always to elevate voices often underrepresented in traditional research. So that's just a little bit about me. Thank you.
I'll go next. Hi, everyone. I am Deanna Camillo, not Diana. And I am a professor in our counseling program here. This is the end of my 4th year, so I'll be starting my 5th year next year. My background has been extensively in K-12, specifically in school counseling. I have served as a district-wide administrator overseeing school counselors, worked mostly in Chicago Public Schools, urban settings, so I have a lot of experience really thinking about the big picture. A lot of my focus is really about problems of practice. So if you want to drill and identify, really thinking about systems-wide problems of practice and how to resolve, practices and services for students, that is my jam, among other things. But that really comes from, over 20 years of seeing, I always say, putting the responsibility on students' backs. When we talk about fixing problems, we always say, students should receive this service and students should jump through these hoops, but we really don't look at the system. So a lot of my work is really looking at systems and challenging how systems perpetuate trauma for students. And that's pretty much it. I can talk about a bunch of other things, but that's sort of the focus of a lot of my work. Oh, and I sorry, I just wanted to say, I did agree I will be chairing one student, and then I will be a third reader for a second student.
I'll be happy to go next. Can you hear me? Hi,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Susan Ginger. I'm excited to see a lot of the students I had in my EDDL 7901, the leadership class. Hi, I'm seeing you there. So I got my EDD from USC, Go Trojans, and I come like Dr. Beck from the K-12 world. Spent lots of years there as a teacher, school librarian, a principal, and retired as an assistant superintendent. So I have a lot of experience in that area, focusing on leadership. I taught leadership class here. I've taught the budget class, the doctorate program. I coordinate the administrative credential program and masters here at CSUSB. I've been here much longer than I thought I would be because these students just, keep me coming back all the time. I'm an affiliated faculty, so I can only be a second reader. And I've done that on several dissertations. I believe, where's Dion? Did you already leave? Wasn't I on yours? I think I was on yours, yeah. So I've been doing it for a while. I think I just have one current student in a prior cohort I'm working on right now. But so my real focus is on leadership, and someone else mentioned problems of practice. We have a lot of those in K-12 and also at the college level with our students. So I'm happy to be a second reader. If anyone's interested, just let me know. I'm available. Thank you.
I can go next. Hi, I'm Deanna Elvira. I am currently a teacher. I'm in my 19th year in education, and I mostly have teaching experience. I teach dance, so I'm familiar with the arts. But what I really specialize in is teacher morale and neoliberal influence on public education. So those are sort of my key areas. I was an administrator for a couple, and I oversaw student behavior. So I'm very well versed in that world of being a vice principal overseeing student behavior TK to 6. However, most of my career was teaching high school, so it was quite a change. I am very passionate about hot topics and the current state of education, and I can get into some deep dives with that. But morale is really my core, teacher morale. And so that being said, I currently right now I am teaching 6th grade to 12th grade, and I'm also a part of the student study team. I will be coordinating that with the middle school due to my admin experience. So I do specialize in also I've done like transition programs for kids, the freshman transition link crew, and I am currently doing the middle school 6th grade, welcoming our 5th graders to 6th graders. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the transition programs, but WEB is what it's called. But so basically I am a TK to 12 person, and I can be a third reader. And I can be of great support whenever if you need it. And I guess that's about it.
I'd be glad to go next if that's all right. I'm James Fenelon. I'm a professor in the sociology department and also run barely the Center for Indigenous Peoples Studies. A lot of my work has revolved around my own Indigenous background. I'm Dakota and Lakota from a place called Standing Rock, as well as some of my Euro ethnic backgrounds, especially Irish Gaelic and from Scandinavian countries, and those kinds of issues inside the United States. My education, so I can be a core, I'm a core faculty here. I could be chair, although I warn people I'm terrible at bureaucracies, but I'm really good at deep analytical thinking. I can do quantitative. I suppose I do mostly mixed methods, qualitative. Some people call it CBR, community-based research. Now, my education that's relevant here is I was going back to get a master's degree in administration at the School for National Training, and that led to me to getting a master's of arts in teaching, a focus on TESOL. That took me to internships in Haiti, which really affected a lot of my work, and then later on running language programs in Martinique. And so we came back from that, and that led to an invitation to go to China for a year. With the PRC, we developed a lot of language programs with them, and then some time in Japan with the corporate structures, then down in Malaysia, and then I had to come back to the United States for health reasons and others. And that led to me getting an advanced studies degree at Harvard Graduate School of Education, especially focused on Indian education and the structural use of Native nations. But that caused me to take a left turn. So I got my PhD at Northwestern in sociology, and where I've continued to focus on a lot of I have about 4 books, and not as many as some of the folks here, but probably about 100 publications or so on journals, mostly in the social sciences, a lot in the world systems analysis, which I got larger and larger within world systems. And so when I finished there, my first few years was at a Jesuit University in Ohio, John Carroll University. That affected other work. We do a lot of work with stereotypes and so on. So I came to then CSUSB and the entering cohort with the wonderful Dr. Murillo there. Hello, Enrique, that I sometimes say culturally is my cola.
Yeah, we came together, same cohort.
The faculty cohort. Yeah, I got to be careful when talking to doctoral cohort groups, right? And so lots of years doing a lot of different things, a couple of years at Swarthmore College, but I came back here mostly to protect tenure, but to do some other work with you all. I have been a second reader, or however you want to refer that, with on a number of dissertations, especially with the wonderful, we're always going by first names here, Dr. Hannah Kivlahula Uden, that we share a lot of shared discourse with. And so that's just been a great joy. And then this last one, I've also sat on some PhDs that not in education, but I did sit with, lucky enough to be invited with Marvin Espinosa there. And that's why I want to refer to like Enrique's work. That was like a learning experience too, because of the great experiential basis that he brought. So I'm glad to work with any of you in any of those areas. I've worked in bilingual and multicultural education, but mostly in the social sciences, especially systems analysis, more on a global level, especially globalization. And with that, I will say, we like to end words by saying either Doksha, there's agreement here, but we'll say Mitako Yasin. We're all related. Let us show each other respect and learn from each other in a good way.
Thank you.
I can introduce myself next. Hi, everyone. It's very nice to meet you all. My name is Tamara Roos. I'm an assistant professor in the Teacher Education and Foundations Department. I teach graduate students in the MA and TESOL program, so teaching English to speakers of other languages. I have extensive experience teaching international students and immigrants at the community college and university level, including undergrad and grad students in online and face-to-face contexts, both in the US and overseas in international higher education contexts. So currently I prepare educators to work with students from diverse language and cultural backgrounds. In terms of research, I'm a qualitative researcher, and I'm really interested on the intersection of language, culture, and education. I focus on teacher education and second language reading and writing, so anything to do with literacy and asset-based pedagogies. I have experience with different research designs and methods like multiple case studies, autoethnography, interviewing, textual and discourse analysis. I really enjoy analyzing language, so whether it's written language or spoken word. And I completed my PhD specializing in multilingual language education at The Ohio State University and just 3 years ago. So for me, the dissertation experience is very fresh still, and I hope I could use that to be a support to you. And I would be very happy to work with you to learn together, support your dissertation research. I'm a new EDD core faculty member, so I'm currently available to be a second reader, but a dissertation chair in the near future. So it's nice to meet you all, and I'd be happy to work with you.
Don't ever jump in at one time at once.
I can go next. Oh,
Go ahead, Angie. Go ahead.
okay, no problem. Hi, my name is Angie Stone McDonald. I'm a professor and department chair in special education, rehab, and counseling. I'm a core member of the EDD faculty, and my area is early childhood special education and early childhood education in general. A lot of my research is around inclusive early intervention and inclusive teacher preparation, focusing specifically on autism as well as culturally sustaining practices in programs for children with developmental disabilities to try and help understand how we can eventually prepare them to be active and meaningful members of communities. And I also have a line of research around engineering and STEM education for inclusive settings with birth to 5, really looking at how we develop the prerequisite critical thinking and problem solving skills for children with and without disabilities to do STEM research in the future and STEM education and just enjoy science and think that it's fun and cool and not lose that love of curiosity. And I am available to take one student as a first reader, again, because of my responsibility as a department chair, and then I can be a second reader for other people as well. Thanks.
I can go next, I guess. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Grisham, and I'm the professor of global studies for CSUSB. That's my, as I say, my daytime job, my new job. Most recently, though, I served as the interim associate provost for faculty affairs and development at the university. So, one of the areas that I have extensive experience in is leadership development as leadership administration in higher education. I've been at CSUSB for 16 years, which is hard to believe. And I've been in higher education for 25 years and I've worked in all 3 of our systems. I started as a community college faculty member and did leadership roles there, and then in the UC system, and then of course at the CSU. So I have only experience in higher education. The experience I have in K through 12 is work that I'm doing now. Because when I decided to go back to faculty a year ago, when I retreated back to my faculty role, I decided I wanted to spend the remainder of my career really helping our local school districts. So now I'm working with K through 12 on issues related to really something that's a passion of mine that I've worked on for most of my career, and that is bias and hate in educational settings. As some of you know, I served as the associate director for our Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism for many years, and that's the work that I've done. And I'm starting to look at more and more increasingly. And in fact, I just started a new book with Palgrave Macmillan called Broken Universities, Mistrust and Misinformation in Higher Education, which is partially informed by the role I had, which was supposed to be 6 months, but turned into a 2-year gig. So I'm a qualitative researcher. I am a brand new core faculty member in the program. So thank you to my colleagues for inviting me to be a part of this. And I can do qualitative research. Primarily, I am trained in quantitative because I'm a political scientist by training. And of course, I know a lot about the CSU because I'm a graduate of the CSU system. In fact, I'm an alumnus of CSUSB itself. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Dr. Sharon, you want to go first?
Sure. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Dr. Sharon Kalkuski, and I am an assistant principal at Shadow Hills High School. And this is my 30-plus year in education, and I am retiring this year from administration. So I'm very excited to share that I will have more time on my hands than I certainly do right now. My specialty areas, I've been teaching in the teacher education program, both in the multi-subject and single subject. And one of my passions and foci areas is working with new teachers and also keeping them out of getting into trouble. So I teach an educational law class, and I'm very passionate also on my site here working with students with special needs. You see this puppy in the background. In 2018, I achieved my dissertation goal of writing about bringing service dogs and therapy dogs into schools and working with students with special needs. And lo and behold, 2 years later, we had COVID. And I shortly thereafter acquired Quartz, who came to school and received the students for 3 years after that. So my specialty area is working with marginalized students, both EL, students with special needs, inclusion. I support the special ed team here at my school. I wear a lot of different hats. I've also been a part of the Legislative Action Committee with AXA. So I understand administration, having been an administrator on a site for nearly 11 years and a teacher in the classroom for 20. So I've worn many different hats, and I know that was very quick, But I'm very excited to join this opportunity and to work with you. I will have time. And so probably second reader, obviously, as I have not done this before. I heard some of the gleanings and tips that people provided at the beginning. My goal and what got me through in writing my dissertation in 2.5 years was every Sunday night submitting something, even if it was a line, making sure that I had something written, and I hit that submission button and it kept me on track. So I have a lot of other tips. I'm a very energetic person and I want to see people succeed. Number one, I want to see people succeed, and I know what this journey was about, and it's extraordinary. So call on me if you need me.
I'll go next. Hello, everyone. I am Sailesh Maharjan, and I have my master's degree in clinical psychology. And I just finished my dissertation, and I'm a new affiliated faculty. And Dr. Murillo shared that we have a very successful cohort, and I belong to that cohort 16. And 14 out of 18 cohort members completed within 3 years. So I can also, I signed up to be affiliated faculty because I also teach as a psychology instructor here at CSUSB. And I also worked as a mental health first aid trainer for the Chancellor's Office for last 6 years. And I also have my research interest in mindfulness, student engagement, student mental health, faculty mental health, and staff mental health. And I'm primarily quantitative. I have done my master's and doctoral dissertation in quantitative method. I also am familiar with qualitative method, so I'll be more than happy to share how we succeeded. And just to share one last thing, just like Dr. Sharon mentioned, and also I think the other, Dr. Sharon also mentioned that you don't want to work on creating the world-changing piece of work through this dissertation. You have to finish within the timeline. And my best tip I can think of is meeting with Dr. Stacy Ortiz backward. So if you saw the form, rather than thinking about doing from 1 to 9 or 1 to 10, you rather want to work backward, because every meeting I had with her really plug the date backward, because you cannot plan to meet March 13 deadline unless you met February something. So you have to think backward and you can plan. And of course, writing is a big part. And the other tip I use myself was I look at the payment. When I see my tuition fee the dissertation is not free. You pay a big chunk of your fee toward the dissertation. So you don't want to, you consider that as a part of class. So that will make you, it motivated me. So hopefully it will motivate you too. So I can be affiliated, I can be the second reader, and I'll be happy to, contribute with anything I could. I did with for my cohort, and I'm looking forward to work with any of you who are interested.
Thank you. So now we can do breakout rooms if anybody wants breakout rooms online. Also here in person, we can, just mingle amongst ourselves. Like I said, there's multiple areas that we have access to. If everybody wants to stay here, that's fine. We have food in the kitchen. And now I'll just go to my office if anybody wants a breakout room. But if anybody's here physically that wants to speak to somebody that's online, I recommend you go on your phone. If that gets a little bit complicated, just let me know. My office is over here. If there's any questions, also students that are online, if you want to speak to somebody here, please let us know on the chat box, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you. And please have some food.
Can I open my mouth? Dominic, I believe you're in the room. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Dr. Galan Lopez, Dr. Galan Lopez, we're trying to make a connection here. So if you could talk, we could connect. And Carlos, if you're willing to talk to him tonight, I'm more than we've already met Dominic and myself via Zoom. So if you would be interested in serving on the committee, maybe you can chat about your work and maybe we can get together.
Phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, all right. So, would you like to do it here or what? Yeah, we just want to do it here, probably.
Yeah, no, this is great. But I have-
I'm working on, or I'm planning to work on studying.
Maybe because I did a focus that I today. I think that'll be. I'm working on it, or it's slow, but I'm working on it, that won't be very long about it.
But I'm hoping that you'll.
I appreciate all your emails.
Oh.
Keep me motivated.
For my third one, so I'm checking specific.
You can either, with me,
Kind of just finding
if you
ways
want, you can put my
about their disability and ways
or
like.
to fill it out.
empowering and-
Pretty much, if you haven't met with your district and chair, you've met with me. So you could just put my.
Yes. Well, that, with our.
So I asked that. I do have. A lot of my work happens early. And then people.
That's.
Oh
my God.
People need that. Where if you would have asked me to be, I think, I would ask them about it more. She kind of, not that, I gotta highlight.
Yeah.
But I have a look that I put in the next 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think, check open, if you think.
Well, I have to say that we've given her a lot of interviews. I haven't had interviews. Parents as well. Have you other interviews in your studies?
That's why I do. Yeah.